Hello and welcome back to the Quantive Podcast. Today we have a very special guest on the show, Sara from Pairpick, a young tech startup founder and entrepreneur who's here to tell us all about her experience and startup. Please enjoy this episode of the Quantive Podcast. So Sara, what exactly is your startup? Tell me more about it.
So Pairpick, it's my startup and it's a self-improvement based dating app with communities and integrated marketplace. And essentially, unlike the traditional dating apps, just swiping on people and then subscribe to the app, we have a whole community support just for self-improvement. So it could be anything. It could be if you want to be more physically attractive, you want to be more mentally attractive, you want to have like a right mindset, as in being in a relationship or going through a relationship. So we are serving as a dating co-pilot to help users throughout the dating journey.
Okay, sounds interesting. Yeah, definitely sounds like something I haven't heard of before. Like the traditional dating apps like Tinder. Okay, so that's interesting. What led you to build an app like that?
Well, story time. Since when I was a teenager, I pretty much download most of the social apps to make friends, which everybody did that at the time, and I wasn't really aware of what it actually is.
Exactly.
And then later on, I opened the Pandora box of dating apps.
Okay.
And since 18, I downloaded pretty much every dating app you could think of. Because why not? Everybody's doing that.
Exactly.
Swiping day in, day out, sort of kind of being addicted to it. But yeah, till now I'm still single. And then I start being thinking, what is dating apps actually like? Like, how do they function? And then when I dive in deeper and deeper in the dating app world, I realized that, wait, I think a lot of people are in the same position as me, and they swiping day in, day out, 24/7, but wouldn't be able to find so-called the right match. And then I start just do a little research on YouTube, Google to look at like the data and analytics stuff. I was like, wait, hold up. Why is it not as good as I expect? Because when you think of dating, I usually expect a lot of people find their love online and get married, this and that. But apparently it's a completely opposite. So, and then the more I investigated, the more I realized that, wait, hold up. Every single successful match means those apps lost 2 potential customers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was thinking, wait, hold up. I don't think this is what a dating app's supposed to be doing. And that's why I was just like, no, you know what? We're not gonna compromise with the dating apps we have. And that's why I came with the idea of, okay, you know what? What if we combined self-improvement into dating apps? What's gonna happen?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're basically saying dating apps right now, they function basically, their subscription-based services, they kind of want their clients to stay on the app. Is that right?
Essentially, yes. But look, I know a lot of people might hate me saying this, but because I truly believe for users, for singles, purely just subscribing on an app and not doing anything to level up yourself wouldn't help you to get your future partner easier, because I personally think you either have to be sort of like a better person in order to attract more people, which is sort of like a law of attraction thing. And that's why I think if you just purely just sort of if you subscribe to the app, that means you'll be able to get in a relationship. I don't think that works like that. But
yeah,
that's why we exist. So we really hope to help people, guide people through the journey and help people to be actually successful in relationship.
Yeah, so a more realistic approach to dating rather than just, oh, here's an
Exactly.
app and, oh, hopefully I matched with this person and there's no actual self-improvement involved.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems very different. And I'm sure that lots of people find that very innovative. And people who are sick of dating apps like you are, the current basic Tinders and I messed that up. Bumble, like those apps are pretty much essentially at the core the same. Your app, obviously, like other dating apps, uses a lot of user interaction, right? Now, I guess other than being in a different structure to other dating apps and having a different goal in mind, functionally with the user experience, what would you say would be some different features that you would have that other dating apps probably wouldn't?
So how we work is that we have a sort of For You page UI in the app. So we'll be able to sort of know what users like and what they don't like, and we integrated AI to sort of calculate what users like and give a
Wow.
relevant recommendation based on what they like and what they dislike.
Okay.
So that applies on, yes, your matches, applies on could be content, it could be like products or services, it applies on anything.
Wow. Okay, AI, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, with AI, do you think it would be a reliable indicator of compatibility? Because obviously it is getting more advanced and it's getting more human-like, but things like relationships or interests are very personal human things to feel. And obviously AI can rate compatibility, maybe calculate a bit of compatibility, but do you think it would be an accurate scale to accurately match people, or do you think there would be some type of limit towards how good it could be?
Well, to answer that question, I need to go back to this is why exactly we have a community thing built in the app. So you can select the one community you're interested in and join in. And that's how you meet like-minded people. So it doesn't have to be, like, AI doesn't have to be the tool for you to find the most compatible person. You can be the one looking for the most compatible person. But yes, AI, I think it's gonna help. But essentially, I think it really depends on the user itself. Like,
Exactly.
what are they trying to achieve here? You know, if you just want to look for people with similar mindsets, similar values, yeah, so just join one of the communities and you'll be able to meet like-minded people.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting then. So people can be with other like-minded people who are interested in the same things.
Exactly.
Okay, so obviously your app has been gaining some traction, even though it's not fully complete. Is that right?
Yeah, we haven't launched yet.
Yeah, but you have got quite a lot of hype building around it. How important would you say networking is to building a startup?
Without doubt, very, very important, because from the early stage for me sort of doing user research, I would pull up to networking events, parties, and ask people, are you guys single? And then they usually just go like shocked, like, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I was like, no, hear me out. And then I give them a little pitch, and a lot of them actually became really exciting. They just ask, wait, so how does that work? I'm really interested in it. And then a lot of them just say like, oh, just let me know. I'm so down to just hop on another dating app, because that is something so exciting. And I do see a lot of people are really fed to go with the current dating apps, because that's what I've asked a lot of people in parties and networking events. And this is how I think for an early stage startup, it's so important to talk to users, like your potential users, and your target audience. Is that something that they will be keen? So on the other side, from industrial networking aspect, as in how important is it to build connection with other founders, entrepreneurs, VCs, I think it's very, very important, because in that way, the more you hang out with these people, the more you sort of understand how entrepreneurship works.
Exactly.
So what is their morning routine like, or how do they talk to people? How do they reach out for help? And every single of these details, it's not something that your school will be teaching you. It's just something you should be experience yourself firsthand, so you can figure out like, okay, so this is how you be like talking to people. This is how you're able to build connection with people. So, but yes, of course, throughout my sort of high school journey, I have been going to a lot of networking events, and I think that helped a lot. So any of the young audience, you haven't graduated from high school yet, I would definitely encourage you to just go out and try networking, even though it was really, really scary at the beginning.
Yeah, right.
So I vividly remember the first time for me pulling up to a networking event. It was so overwhelming that I don't even know how to talk to people. I was just standing there awkwardly and doing nothing, just drinking my orange juice.
Yeah.
But the more I experienced that to those networking events, the better I got. So till now, I can confidently walk into a room and then talk to people naturally. So it was a really big contrast from the very beginning when I first started. Yes, it was very scary. But once you step out from your comfort zone, everything else will be much easier afterwards.
Exactly, right.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to kind of, as you said, step out of your comfort zone to, well, obviously reach higher places and go further.
Exactly.
Okay. So through building Pairpick, what would you say the hardest thing so far has been?
Ooh, I wouldn't say it's the hardest, because I wouldn't see anything hard in my opinion, because it's just my perspective. I would just, whenever I encounter some issues, I would just like, interesting. I wouldn't say it's hard, because I think it's really important to know that this is sort of like the limiting belief you have towards yourself. But I would say probably work-life balance. So for me, I have a very, very intense schedule. I work a lot, and then I have a lot of commitments, and I've studies at the same time, and I need to, work on my startup. And yes, I sacrifice a lot of so-called fun times, as in I could hang out with my other friends, or, go to this party, that party. But I chose to build something that I believe will be impactful in the future and would actually help people. And I wouldn't say it's hard. I think it is why it's so beautiful of building something, like building a startup. So, but yeah, definitely work-life balance would be the one.
That makes sense, yeah. Like, people find it hard to just balance school and, like, say their sports or their social life, but balancing school, social life, and a big startup on top of that seems very challenging. So, with Pairpick, what would you say are the future plans you have for it at the moment?
Future plan will be definitely beta testing our MVP first. The second is we'll be producing dating shows.
Dating
Yes.
shows? Wow.
It has been something that I really want to do for a really long time, because for me, I love filmmaking, and I think dating show is something that I'm really keen to involve in producing. So that is the another one. And the third one will be creating content. So I'll be posting on YouTube, on Instagram. And in fact, I have a video I'm editing right now, so it'll be launched soon.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we're looking out for that, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If Pairpick was a person, how would you describe its personality?
Wow, that is a really interesting question. I would say Pairpick, if Pairpick is a person, I would say Pairpick will be a person who loves self-improvement a lot and love hanging out with like-minded people. People have similar beliefs and values. And of course, Pairpick will be somebody who would be obsessed with a lot of self-love content, I would say, as in like how to make yourself become better. Well, that's kind of self-improvement, as in like how do you speak to yourself every day, or how do you treat yourself every day? Because I think that this guide to another topic, as in like I think a lot of people forgot about how important it is to actually take care of yourself, to actually love yourself. Because without that, how would you expect somebody else to do it for you?
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, you have to first love yourself before someone can love you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times, people, a lot of my friends come to me. I was like, I run into this relationship issue, that relationship issue. Even though I'm not like a psychiatrist, but they asked me for advice, so I was just give my own opinion. As in, like, I was asking, I was like, why would you let somebody treat you like that? And how do you treat yourself daily? When was the last time you tell yourself like, wow, I love you so much, I'm so proud of you? And if you don't even do that to yourself, why would you expect your partner or your date do that to you?
Yeah, so having confidence is key, pretty much.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't pursued your dream of actually building your startup Pairpick, I guess what would your future be looking like in terms of career opportunities and things like that?
I think it would be, I'm probably going to be a content creator, which I already am doing, because I am sort of going to document my whole journey of my startup, ups and downs. But I think storytelling has been something that I have been really enjoying, and I love telling good stories and enjoy people listening to it. So I think content creation or potentially filmmaking, well, because content creation has some of filmmaking elements in, so I think that would count as one.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you say is the most surprising feedback you received for Pairpick?
Surprising, I would say people are actually really keen, because I have so I popped to this networking event, and then I have this one entrepreneur friend. She was telling me like, how she tried all the dating apps and none of them work, and she just felt like she wouldn't be able to, like, use the apps anymore. But right after I told her what my startup did, and she was really, really keen to be on it, because she's also not an entrepreneur, and she loves like-minded people so much. And the way she was like, you know what, if you launch your app today, I'm gonna be the first user. And I was like, oh wow, that is really, really surprising. I didn't expect that at all. So that was like the most surprising, because she is really, really smart, and her company is probably worth like millions of dollars. I don't actually know, but she's a really, really smart lady, and I was just so surprised at how she reacted on it. Yeah,
it definitely is an innovative app, so that makes sense though. So you curated a TEDx event based on AI. What would you say the key takeaways from that event?
Key takeaway, well, I would say we should definitely learn how to use AI. Even in school, high school, uni, I think it should all change to like how to make AI work for us. As in, you should know how to do the prompting. You should know how to make sure it's helping you instead of just generating random text or random paragraphs. And I do believe in the future, AI will be heavily involved in any aspect in our life. And I think it's so important to understand how AI works and how can we use it to make sure everything it's to make sure, how do you say, it can boost our effectiveness.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of, I know a lot of, for example, high school, they banned students from using AI, and I think it's probably not the best decision because in the future, maybe in a corporate or when they're working, they definitely will need to use AI. And I think if you understand how to use it properly, it'll be a really powerful tool to use.
Exactly. Like how a mathematician uses a calculator. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a tool.
Exactly.
And I think as long as you use it properly, I don't see any issues with it.
Exactly. So who would you say are some thinkers, public figures or entrepreneurs who inspire you?
There's actually a lot. But I would say Mel Robbins. So I know it's pretty much nothing related to tech, but the reason I adore her so much is that I think her podcasts are super helpful for me personally because I sort of am learning how to be a better sort of communicator, as in relationship, outside of relationship, and I think she helped a lot. And she has this book called Let Them, and I think it's such a good practice you can have in your life, as in relationship or just just day-to-day life in general, as in just the philosophy of how to stop being upset or being trapped into like the rock bottom and think like, oh, that this wouldn't get better and this person will get better, and you just stuck yourself in that low frequency. But through sort of her let them method is that if your friends aren't doing the things you like, let them. If your customers don't really like what you're doing, let them. But obviously think of another approach to do things. But I think the first thing is we should allow things to happen. And I think that applies to entrepreneurship even, as in because there will be a lot of ups and downs for entrepreneurs. And I think it's so important to actually make sure your mindset is correct, as in just let them, let it flow and believe that eventually everything will work the best for you, because why wouldn't it be?
Exactly. I saw that you were a finalist for Women of the Year, and how would you say you hope to inspire other women in the tech and startup field?
I would say I'm very grateful that I was selected as a finalist, and I definitely would love to see more women in STEM, as in AI space or in just having a startup in general, because I mean I think recent years it has been more and more female founders joining the industry, but I hope I could be somebody that sort of lead people through, like, it's definitely not easy to be an entrepreneur. So to be a female entrepreneur, it's another thing. It's next level. So I would love to inspire more and more people to join the startup space, the AI space, and I definitely hope more and more people get inspired by me. So yeah, so I really do believe in the future there'll be more and more females get involved in starting startup.
Yeah. Obviously you've been involved in public speaking events like TEDx. How would you say storytelling plays a role in business and leadership?
I think it's so important to have the storytelling skills to start a business, as in, because people always would able to resonate with stories. If you're just chucking a tons of datas, a lot of like revenues, like big numbers, nobody, let's say that nobody cares. But if you're able to tell a story and get people go through the journey with you together, that makes a complete different story. Because you see, a lot of entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs, a lot of for example, Elon Musk, let's say, or there's tons of good entrepreneurs. They are incredibly good at storytelling, and the way that we're able to persuade you that, hey, this is what I'm selling, and this is what's the story behind this, and this is why we are better. And if you are able to tell the story that everybody would sort of understand, like, wait, wow, like, this is what it's all about, and they will be able to connect you deeply, like emotionally.
Yeah.
That would be the main difference between you and your competitors.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not just another customer, and you're not just another business that is just corporate, just grey, boring. You actually have a story, and you want to connect. So, to listeners out there who are probably still young and still maybe in high school, looking to obviously come up and build something successful once they get into uni or even at the moment, what is some good entrepreneurial advice you would give to them?
I think it's very important to understand what is your definition to success, because everybody has a different definition to it. So for somebody, if they just live a comfortable life, spending time with their families and friends, with their partners, that is success to them. But to some people, they want to strive every day. They want to challenge themselves every day, push their boundaries. And that is success to somebody. Or another version of success is that, just go to uni, study masters, stay at research, and just be really academically, achieve the so-called academic stuff. That will be another success to people. Exactly. So to understand the definition of what you actually want, it's all important. First, you have to figure out why. Why do you want that? Is it just for, validations from people, just to look better, or you genuinely feel like that is something that I would die for? I am willing to sacrifice this much of stuff to achieve that. And it's all about prioritizing what you want the most. Because obviously you can't take up everything at the same time. You definitely have to prioritize a few things. And this is the sort of advice that I would give people, is that just to understand yourself more, sit down, use like 20 minutes, blank, don't get anybody to disrupt you. Think of, what do I actually want? What I want to achieve? And why am I doing that? And I think after that conversation between you and yourself, you will have so much clarity of how to be so-called successful.